This is the new thermal INFIRAY T2 Pro. Sit back, relax. I'll tell you what I think. Welcome back to the channel. Today's going to be a really good review. This is the new INFIRAY T2 Pro Thermal. Now what makes this thing different, apart from the actual size of it, because this is the actual case, is this turns your phone into a thermal imager for a fraction of the price. This is going to be absolutely fantastic for people who may be on a budget, they want to try thermal for the first time, they don't want to spend £2,000 on some kind of all singing all dancing pulsar, when something as unique as this, without breaking the bank, could change all that. Now I actually received this today. I'm still going through it. This has been untested at the moment, but I do have some high hopes. Very skeptical, but high hopes as well. I'm really looking forward to trying it, so I'm going to run through a few things for you about how to set it up, and then once we set it up I'll go out and we'll do some ratting. So we'll go through a few things that actually come in the box just before we start putting it all together. This is the handle, mounting bracket for where you stick your phone and the camera, cable just to attach the phone to the thermal itself, instruction manual tells you about where to download the app and how that works, and then also this laser dot sight. I'm not 100% sure whether I'm going to use this. Not quite sure if it's relevant for my needs, but it's there if you want it. Something I will say is it does not come with a battery. So we'll put that to one side and ignore that for now. And we're going to concentrate on putting all these together. So to simply put the handle onto this bracket, make sure these finger grips are pointing towards this direction. And with this red wheel, turn that, and it simply attaches onto there. Now we're simply just going to attach the phone to the mount itself. This is a Google Pixel 4, so you'll notice I'm putting it on slightly not central. That's mainly because I've got the volume buttons here, but that's not even tight. I'm happy enough just throwing that around. Once that's on, we need to turn it around. We want to attach our actual INFIRAY device. Same again with the phone. Just be quite gentle when you're tightening these down. There are some rubber grips on here, but even when you just do it very slightly, that is really gripping it. It's not going to go anywhere, and it's putting virtually no pressure onto this device itself. So there's nothing to worry about with that. Once everything's attached on there, you're going to grab the cable supplied, attach that onto there, and I'll just roughly stick it onto there. Because I'm on Android, I'm currently on the Play Store. Now there are two apps. Now the first one that I downloaded was actually the wrong one. I thought the product was actually faulty, but it turned out I just downloaded the wrong one. So there's two. One is called Xtherm, and the other one is called X-Infrared. The X-Infrared is the one that you want. So we'll simply click open. Click OK. As you can see, that is now picking up the heat. There's not much it's looking at because it's just looking at the wall. You can see my hand. If you want to adjust focus, there is just a knob on the camera itself, and it's as simple as that to use. When we go out ratting, I'll go into a little bit more detail about the colour palettes and how to use it. This is just a quick test going through the colour palettes just before I get out onto the rats. This is just checking the different colours and temperature range, things like that. So this is actually red hot. Simply click over to black hot, white hot, and then a couple of other crazy colours. But the fact that you can record through the phone itself to record your actual hunting is a really big bonus. So that's the unit itself. Looks a little bit cumbersome, but it is pretty solid. Nothing's going anywhere. You can really give that a good shake. So I'm really looking forward to getting out with this. Give it a really good try. So we're down at the farm now. I've got the INFIRAY T2 Pro all set up, ready to go. It's a bit light, waiting for darkness. What's going to happen now is when the rats start coming out, I'll show you different colour palettes and the heat tracking. And the heat tracking is something really, really useful. You can even use it for foxes. So let's see how we go. We've got some of the cattle there. They're about 60 yards away, just lying on the ground. Use a little knob at the front just to focus. Using red hot. They're about 80 yards. I'm just going to swing over here to the end of the field. Nothing particularly interesting over here, but just focus it a little bit. The bushes over there, they're about 150 yards. About 130 to 150 yards. Looking over to that tree, that'll probably be touching 200 yards. This thermal is absolutely mind-blowing for the price. This would be the absolute perfect tool if you're just getting into thermal. Look how clear that is. So we're getting down to business now. Chris is going to be behind the trigger tonight. You can see the thermal is currently set on red hot. I'm currently testing out the different colour palettes. We've now switched over to white hot. You can just see the rat glowing up there just before it got taken out by Chris. You can really see them stuck into those really tight dark spots. Nothing can escape a thermal, any thermal, even in this price range. You can even look at the clarity of how clear this rat is. This rat is about 5 yards away. Then we have another one and another one. And then you can see the cattle which are currently feeding. This is why we do control pests. That's another topic anyway, because we're looking at the thermal tonight. But if you are going pest controlling, you can see how valuable a thermal is. And if you are just getting into thermal and you need something a little bit cheaper, you don't want to be spending silly money, then this is ideal. You just use your phone, the little T2 Pro is attached to the front, and away you go. And you can use the full screen of your phone to see all this. Even at such a budget friendly price, this even has heat tracking. And if you're not sure what that is, when you turn it on, what you see on screen, it will pick up the hottest point in that picture. This is extremely valuable for something when you're going foxing or even rabbit shooting, because the rabbits are just a little bit further out. You might not be able to see them through your night vision, but the thermal will pick everything up. This is a fantastic little unit. So we're just having a little explore around the farm, seeing what rats we can pick up. There aren't a lot of rats at the moment, mainly because it's summer, but during the winter this T2 Pro will probably come into its own a lot more, because you're not going to escape this. You're looking at left or right. It's on top of the back. You can even see the cattle in the background. How much they are glowing up, and you're going to get that even with the higher end thermals. You'll just use a little knob just at the front of the T2 Pro just to adjust that focus. Here we are changing the colour palette again, back onto red hot. Well, and what's amazing with this is the features that come with it. So I currently have another thermal, which is nearly 3 times the price, and it can record, but it can't record sound. This you can even record with your phone. A lot of the higher end ones can't do that. So when I'm paying £900 for a thermal and it can't record sound, I'm a little bit disappointed. But at this at around £330, that's pretty impressive. Again, we're giving the heat track a little test out. But you can see how quick that heat tracking picks up. It's a really valuable option to have. To black hot, white hot. Now we're going to some predator type stuff. And now we're just taking a lot of drugs. We'll go back to red hot, which is my favourite. We've just turned that heat tracking on again. You can see the hottest points of Chris there. If we pan around, you can see it's going straight onto the kettle. The heat tracking for this price range would be perfect for rabbits and the occasional fox. Well, that was my review of the INFIRAY T2 Pro. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to tell you my conclusions, some pros, some cons, is it worth it? But just before I do that, I just want to quickly say I do get offered to do reviews on other products quite a lot. Most of them, about 90% I'll turn down. But the reason why I've decided to do this one is because when we look at some of the terms and conditions that get sent to me, particularly in this paragraph here, the original content should be decent, honest and factual. I think that's a really massively important thing to say from INFIRAY or for any company. That gives me the right to say whatever I want about this product, whether it be good or bad. That, in my eyes, is a really positive move, because that way I can tell you what I really think about a product and whether it's worth buying or whether to save your money and buy something else. I don't want to be one of those YouTubers which tells you to buy a product because it's been given to me for free or they've paid me to say it and I'm only allowed to say positive things. If I'm reviewing a product, I want to say what I want to say, because I want people to look at me as 100% genuine. I don't want people buying something on my recommendation and then they're disappointed because it's not what it turns out they thought it would be. So I just wanted to get that clear, and I'm really happy that INFIRAY have actually got that in their terms and conditions, that if I'm doing a review it has to be truthful, whether good or bad. Right, well, we got that out of the way, so we'll go on to more important things now. I'm just going to put up the technical sheet just here and you can all have a gander, pause it if you need to. A lot of that stuff I don't particularly understand. To me it's just a thermal, bang, let's go. First thing I'm going to talk about is the cons. Let's just get them out of the way. It is a little bit cumbersome compared to a full unit like you usually think of when it comes to thermal. Each time you use it you do have to set it up, but then again we are talking at the lower end price bracket. Now that the cons are out of the way, we're going to talk about the pros. I'm amazed that something in this price range has such clarity. You can really pick up detail on certain things. Again, in this price range, as I keep mentioning, there are some really high-end features, such as you get video recording with sound, heat tracking, and even multiple colour palettes. Now, as I mentioned, the mount can be a little bit cumbersome. You got to set it up each time, but it is a lot more stable than it looks. You can pick that up, put your phone and the thermal imager into it, and you can shake it. It's not going anywhere. It's really safe. And the last thing I just want to mention, the price. At approximately £30, give or take, if for someone who's just getting into thermal, they don't want to be spending too much money, this is perfect. It's perfect for things such as rats and rabbits, and with a heat tracking, fox, because it's going to pick out even at those further distances. Now I know I do have a couple of friends who don't have the best eyesight, particularly Lofty, who has one bad eye. He'll probably find this quite useful because he's using the full screen of the phone. He struggles when it's just the one eye with a thermal binocular, but because it's that full screen size, he's really going to enjoy this. So to sum up, do I think this is worth it? Yes, definitely. Particularly if you're just getting into it, you don't want to be blowing your budget. this is a fantastic little imager. Not just on a budget price, the clarity of it is a lot higher up there. Now I do have another thermal binocular, which I use quite a lot, and that's about £900. And it's probably on par with that. I'm a £900 one, can't even record sound. So if you are in the market for something like this, take a look at this. I've left a link in the video description, and you can also check out AM Bushcraft and Hunting, because he's also done a video on this. Hopefully I've helped you out in making a decision as to if you was thinking about buying one of these. If this review has helped you, please give it a like, please give it a thumbs up, please comment. I'll answer every question I can, because it really does help the channel, and I hope this has been really beneficial to you. So thank you very much for watching.